3, 2, 1, live! And it's been a long time since I've done a live stream. Well, this is Ernie with the Trader of Futures, and here to give you an analysis of the most current Bitcoin push-up. It has moved up significantly in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. And a bit surprising on my side. I didn't think it would move up quite this much. However, it wasn't totally, at least not now. I'm trying to find a reason. Is there a reason? As if there should be a reason. I've gone out there and I've taken a look at a lot of the different pundits, analysts, trying to get a feel for why this sudden upsurge in interest in Bitcoin. Interest. Well, see, there is a word that doesn't comport. Interest. Because the interest in Bitcoin, while it appears as if there's a slight uptick, the overall interest in Bitcoin, at least from a Google Trends perspective, is still relatively flat. So, you look at that, and then you weigh that with what you see. You see this, what looks like a parabolic move. And you think, parabolic move? Must be some interest. Go look at Google Trends. I don't see no interest. So, then you go and, and then of course, the pundits are trying to make some correlation between Bitcoin and the markets. There's some economic turmoil around the world, these trade deals, blah, 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 blah. The United States is doing fantastic. Maybe other parts of the world may be struggling a little bit, but we're going to lift all boats with our rising tide. There's no doubt about that. There has never, ever been a correlation between the economy or any economic factor, any asset, any future, any stock with Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, it is completely uncorrelated. That's just a fact. Now, you may be able to find small bits of correlation here and there, then claim there's some correlation, but you're wrong. Correlation isn't something that just lasts for an itsy-bitsy weeny bit of time. It just doesn't work that way. Either it's correlated or it's not. And there is no correlation. But that doesn't discount the fact that Bitcoin did breach 8,000. Now, I've been, talking about Bitcoin moving sideways for 2 years. And we're about 1+ years into that prediction. I also said that it should stay within some channel and occasionally pop out of there. Now, is this one of those times where it pops out, or is this the end? It was my 2-year prediction, or two-year estimate. I don't want to call it a prediction. I just used 2 years as something that to push it off that far because I couldn't see all the things that were keeping it down from resolving themselves. And those things simply have not resolved themselves yet. So why is this? Why is Bitcoin receiving this attention right now? What could the possible reason be? So I went to the interwebs, the internet, the book of knowledge, and asked it, what the hell's going on? First article I came up with, the most popular article, I guess, TechCrunch. And they had, all the usual suspects that they were thinking maybe this, maybe that. And, tension between Korea and Asia and China and Russia and collusion and obstruction and all this other bullshit. And they went through the whole litany. And then finally, down below. Oh, they also talked about Flexa. Now, Flexa is a new payment network. Now, I tried to get on Flexa, but you need a security code. Either that or you need to be invited by somebody who is already on Flexa. I mean, what the fuck is that? Why, if you want to try something and you have a product that you think will do some good, apparently you can use Flexa to pay at normal stores, and it has this sort of complex back end where it does all the transactions and conversions and all exchanges and all that other stuff. But you can go to Barnes & Noble and Whole Foods. Well, nobody goes to Barnes & Nobles anymore. Bed Bath & Beyond. Whole Foods. I go to Whole Foods every once in a while when I'm feeling like buying some overpriced food. You have Lowe's. I'm not a Lowe's person. I'm a Home Depot person. Crate and Barrel. That a lot of these stores are for. These are places my wife would go. Petco. I've gone to Petco. Office Depot or Office Max. Yeah, occasionally. So there's not a great, huge, selection of different stores where you can go to. But they're promising to expand that. And now, could that have been the reason for Bitcoin rising up, this sort of epiphany? All of a sudden we're all woke to the fact that Flexa is going to unleash Bitcoin and allow us to use it in normal everyday commerce. Well, first of all, you would have to have Bitcoin. You'd have to know how to get it, or even have the compunction. Of course, we know that the interest isn't there. So you would need to be there, and then you would have to download the they call it the Spend app. It's kind of a play on HODL. Instead of HODL was a misspelling. It was supposed to be hold, HOLD. So now they purposely misspelled spend, SPEND, and they call it Spend. It's fucking stupid. So anyways, that's the name of the app, Spend. And it uses the Flexa network, and it is supposed to unleash commerce to Bitcoin as well as other cryptos. Now, you can't use the damn thing unless you have a code. I don't have a code. There's a so they say on their website, go to our Twitter feed, and maybe you'll find something there. So you go to the Twitter feed, and nobody there has a code. Nobody. They're all saying, well, where's the freaking code? In the comments section. Where's the code? We don't know where the code is. And then there are some people in there saying, well, forget about Spedden, and go use Pompey. Go to Pompey. Because Pompey is out there, and it supports, and you don't need a code. The problem is it's only for Android. Where Flexa Spend is only for iOS, although they say an Android version is coming out, which won't make any difference if you can't get a code. So that obviously isn't the reason why it's going up. So you're sitting here thinking, all right, maybe there's some other reason. Could it be? I heard some talk about Gemini and Backed and Fidelity's clearinghouse bullshit. All of these companies are legitimate companies, and they're in it, I understand, to hedge their bets. In case Bitcoin is out there, they're there at the forefront to take advantage of it. But, Gemini has largely failed over the past couple of months with their CBOE-sponsored version or futures product biting the dust, no longer traded. Plus, it's the Winklevoss twins, bunch of fakers. I shouldn't say that. They got way more money than I do, so... Anyways, that doesn't stop me from criticizing them. So, again, what could it be? Where is this all coming from? If there's no obvious outward reason for Bitcoin going up, there's no correlation to anything. All of these products are dead ends. There's nothing really happening on that scene. Why did it spontaneously start going up in an exponential way? There is no interest in Google Trends. There's nothing out there that would point to why Bitcoin is moving up. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why? 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 Well, there is one reason. There is one reason that we have pointed to many times before. That is without a doubt probably the reason, and that is manipulation. Bitcoin is easy to manipulate. There's very low volume. There are whales out there with just mega cash, and they're looking for ways that they can pump the price up, play a little game with that, squeeze some shorts, grab some more Bitcoin, and then dump it and profit, and then buy in again at a lower price. They'll do this over and over and over and over, and all of you friggin' noobs out there, all you friggin' sycophants, Bitcoin butt boys, mostly millennial men, all of you are more than willing to turn your friggin' ass. No, wait a minute. No, to expose your fucking balls and allow them to fondle them for their pleasure and your humiliation. That is more. When you start thinking of things, philosophical things like Occam's razor, what is the most logical and simplest explanation must be, or is more likely to be, the answer. And that is it. It is whales and manipulators fucking with millennial boys and stealing their bullshit and twisting their minds because they're so easily manipulated. That's it. There you go. See, the other thing, and there's a good point that Chuck A. Is saying, is that there's still plenty of shitcoins out there. There's still a full docket on the FBI's plate to sift through all this fraud and corruption. The SEC has absolutely no interest in approving an ETF or in any way legitimizing Bitcoin. So none of that has changed. None of it. Tether, we find out, which we all knew, is a fucking fraud. Bitfinex, Binance hacked. All of these things are in direct conflict with Bitcoin going up. Now, I had a little Bitcoin and Litecoin that I accumulated, and I sold it off. Tidy little profit. Go out and buy myself some toys, like this beautiful Benchmade Osborne folding knife. One of the best things money can buy. What else did I get? Oh yeah, I got myself a Predator Revo carbon fiber shaft for my pool cue. Again, one of the best things money can buy. Because I figured, hey, what the hell? Free money, free magic money. Might as well do something with it and make use of that stupid little amount of money that I put away. And so I cashed it in, and I've got it. And I put the rest of it into a poker site. I put it into Bovada. And so I'll do a little betting here and there, and I'll probably run that up 3 or 4 times, and then take that out and or transfer it back into Coinbase. Probably not until this price goes down a little bit. And I'll just do the whole thing over again. I'll just keep on doing that, and I'll just keep on buying myself little toys. I'll accumulate a little bit more. I'll accumulate toys. I'll have maybe a few $1,000 in there. It'll go up. I'll buy something else. Who knows? All right, let's go to the comments. Crypto market that has no correlation with stock market. That's what's good about it, huh? Is the whale wagging its tail? Yes. Dump the Ponzi. Wow. Raziel says, the reason was because all the corporate funds government bought in earlier for all of the big news that came out yesterday, blatant insider trading. I'm not sure I understand or follow that. We all know that supposed hacked on exchange earlier was inside hack and manipulation to liquidate shorts. I'm sure everybody knows. Everyone knows, right? I don't know. I am just some guy here looking at the evidence and then calling it, right? And I've been doing this for a long time. What about news if Microsoft integrating blockchain? They've been talking about that forever. Are we going to see 2 or 3K Bitcoin as per your earlier predictions? Well, we did see 3K Bitcoin. You forget that. We did see 3K Bitcoin. And my partner in PatternCast, PatternCast is our futures, stock, and Forex trading signal service. In our trade room there, my partner did call to buy Bitcoin at $31.50, and that was a good call. And like me, he thinks that we're overextended. Anything around this area of 8K is just way overextended. It's very, very significant resistance above. Good time. Now I got out a little bit early, but I still got out well enough to buy toys. Using any crypto to purchase something is an asset sale and must be reported on your taxes. Yes, we all know that. But still, the reporting and the documentation is very, very poor. It's likely that the IRS will never catch up with you, at least not in the short term, unless we're talking about big, big purchases. Sam, don't say this. Ordered my purple Lambo yesterday. Don't forget the hose. Need the hose when you get your Lambo. They're leading the retail sheep to slaughter, in Adam's opinion. Iceman says, Binance hacked. 1 week later, it rockets. I smell a rat. Of course. That's what it's all about. Andrea07, it's also funny how most people start calling for a bottom after going up without even retracing. So you think we hit above 8K. Well, we did. We hit a little bit above 8K. I don't, at least looking at the volume profile here, let's take a look at that. So we can see that we breached this huge volume well. We came out of that volume well very strong. This was obviously a huge pump here in, looks like, what was that? Right around, look at that. April 1st or April 2nd. We got a nice little April Fool's joke, and they pushed it up and moved it up into this big volume well. There was very little resistance, and they were able to then move it up to this next area of value, this value node right here at the 6,500 mark, 6,500, and do another launch there in another volume well. But here we have significant resistance up in the low 8,000s. And you can see that just going across here. This is also, coincidentally, if we go all the way back to November of 2017, this was the launching point after that after that bear trap that happened just before we took off. And that's where we've stopped. That's kind of interesting. So I think that there's a good deal of manipulation going on here. The last time that we made any kind of significant push up is also where we've stopped, dead in its tracks. All right, and you can see we have a minor volume node here, lots of low volume above that. No indication. I mean, it is possible that we might get another push out here with the whales, even though we've seen a great deal of volume trying to push it up to this point, and really we haven't broke out through there. I'm surprised. You have two long candles surrounded by a short candle, two long candles, and then just sort of stop. Now, could we push up? I guess we could. I would say that it's hard for me to believe on no real value. There is no real value here. What is pushing this up? Who has that kind of money to push this up, especially in a long, protracted bear market? Not many people. It's a suckers rally. Okay. Gurdip Singh, do you really think bankers created Bitcoin? Look, everyone's conspiracy theory is as valid as everybody else's. There's just so many things about Bitcoin that is in mystery, that lies in mystery, that conspiracy theories will naturally abound. Now, I never said that Now, that was my partner who made the assertion that the bankers are behind it. And look, I can't discount that. I can't say it, and it's as good a conspiracy theory as any other. You were saying why Bitcoin pumped. I said that this 2 to 3 weeks week pump leading up to the biggest news day of the year yesterday was the most blatant insider trade. What was yesterday? Biggest news story. Binance is going to pause withdrawals and deposits tomorrow for some reason. Chuck A. Iceman, 7K Bitcoin stolen and boom price jumps. What a coincidence. And Chris Rock says, zero tolerance makes a great knife. But zero tolerance from a customer support point of view kind of sucks. And so I agree that zero tolerance makes some great knives, but the company kind of sucks. I stick to customs mostly. Yes, I was a tad annoyed when it flew up, but it will come back to Earth. Consensus pumping, people FOMOing out of Tether. So Sam says, although his comment was blocked for some reason, I intend to pick up the hose after receiving the Lambo. I wonder why hose was... that's really weird. It was, on my end, it was hidden from view until I showed it. Also getting slaughtered in Bitcoin value as well, which is a telling tale in my opinion. Well, that's an interesting thing. Let's take a look at that. So we can look at coin market cap. And what we need to do then is go and look at Bitcoin dominance, which is at 59.5%, which in fact does mean that alts are getting slaughtered. Here we have a huge upturn in Bitcoin and no corresponding upturn in alts. In fact, they are going down. So the spread between that and alts has widened dramatically. So while they're not getting slaughtered, their price isn't going down. It's just Bitcoin going up without them receiving any love. Venezuela doesn't have anything to do with this spike. No, absolutely not. They don't have any ability to do anything. If it's all a big pump and dump, they will likely raise the price up and eventually get the general public to FOMO in before the next dump. This thing still has a lot more room to grow. And I don't disagree with that, Sammy Zuko. Do not disagree with that at all. It could very well go up. I don't know what that point is. It's hard for me to imagine up to 10K. 10K seems to be the psychological magic number in a lot of these millennial dipweed heads. I'm glad you're doing shows with the infamous phone calls you get. I haven't gotten any phone calls yet. I'm expecting one. Well, it was on silent, so did I get any calls? No calls yet. Audrey, how you doing? Venezuela bank shut down your account if anything over $50 is deposited, so I don't think Venezuela is doing this. That's a good point. Raziel says, yesterday, news announced Starbucks, Whole Foods, among other big companies, are accepting Bitcoin. Microsoft announced the Bitcoin project backed, announced further launch. Does that have anything to do with this Flexa or Spedn? I don't know. Or is it something different? I haven't seen any tools or apps that I can download to do that. Chris Corey, I'm a little worried that Bitcoin might make your channel popular again, Ernie. Haven't been able to catch your live streams for a while. That's because I haven't done any live streams for a while. I've been concentrating on Patterncast, a real service using real assets, real money, making real money. And if you're interested in that, Patterncast, we've made a big deal. I should say we've established a big relationship with a very large introducing broker, futures broker. And that's going to really, in the very short term, is going to really push Patterncast up tremendously. And so prices are going to be going up very soon, when that demand starts. So if you're interested in Patterncast, go to traderofutures.com. And if you get the monthly, we'll always honor an upgrade to a yearly later on. So that's probably the easiest way to get into Patterncast right now if you're wondering. Get the monthly, you don't have to pay a bigger price. But if you want to lock in that price too with the yearly, I think that yearly deal, that yearly idea, I'll only keep that for a couple of months. So yeah. Anyways. Charts for gold and crypto correlated pretty closely yesterday. Again, Audrey, what I said was when they only correlate for a short period of time, that's not a correlation. Made me wonder if China's devaluation had something to do with it. Again, there is no long-term correlation. You can't have a correlation for a very, very discrete period of time and then claim that it's a correlation. It's a coincidence. The two words are not the same. They don't have the same meaning. They have completely different meaning. Which brokers do you recommend for futures trading? I like Daniel's Trading. I like Thinkorswim. I like TradeStation. I like Interactive Broker, but I don't like their tools at all. So Daniel's, Thinkorswim, TradeStation are my favorite. Consensus really did pump up this time, as it is the biggest blockchain event of the year. Lots of news gets held off until then. Making purchases with crypto is idiotic, says Chuck. But if Visa, MasterCard, and Amex let you pay your card balance with Bitcoin, you may have something. I just got a new American Express business card. It's kind of nice. It's really heavy. It feels like it has... there's metal inside of it. It's it is a hefty card. Ernie missed the train again. How did I miss the train? You're not listening, are you, smart Nexus? Not so smart, nor are you a Nexus. I said I've been in Bitcoin since the lows, and I've been talking about accumulating near the lows. Just I haven't been talking about accumulating over aggressively, and I even showed all the little toys that I've been buying since I have taken advantage of that gain. All eyes. Hey, what's up, Ernie? How's it going? Stopped in for a little, loving the crypto market rally. Currently, the global FOMO is real this time. What's your thoughts on how this will play out? I think we have a little way. We could breach the 8,500 mark a bit. I think that's going to be the extent of it, and then it will start rolling over. So I'm going to watch for that rollover. Once I'm comfortable with that rollover, I will short. Anthony Brocado, pattern cast still a greater than 98% success rate? So the answer is no. It is at about 97% profitable. In other words, of all the calls that are triggered, 97% of them end up profitable. 66% of them either reach the target or exceed the target, with the average target being exceeded, or the average trade being exceeding the target by over 215%. So hopefully, Anthony, that answers your question. So yes, pattern cast is phenomenal. And in fact, in the last month, it has been just totally off the charts. Ernie, do you expect Bitcoin to hit 3 digits in the long run? Ponzi deserves to go there, doesn't it? That's a hard one to answer. That would assume that it gets below 1,000. Does it have that potential? I think so. But there are so many people in it. There is such a relatively robust ecosystem around it that unless there is some really negative news, it's going to be hard to get down below that level. So, can it get back to 3,000? I think getting back to 3,000, there's a very, very good possibility of that. Chainlink, coin already trading, announced a partnership with Hashgraph. Do you think Chainlink has potential now? I'm not aware of that, Raziel. I'd have to look at that, so I can't comment. But thank you for that information. Chris Rock, I've heard Chainlink is a good project. We'll take a look at it. Thank you again for pointing that out. Sammy Zuko says, crypto is an easy way to double your money. Then you can play with just house money. It's too good to miss out on, in my opinion. People just have to be careful and not get too greedy. You can say that with just about any trading, quite frankly. With pattern cast, you can make all kinds of money, but if you are greedy and you over leverage, even if someone is giving you all winners, you can still lose. So, in any kind of trading, you have to have patience, follow a strategy, stick to the strategy, stick to the plan. All Eyes is saying, how far of a retrace are you looking for this time, Ernie? Over 20% retrace when the top is in. It's not the retrace. I just think that it's going to, again, diminish back down to that channel. I'm going to say that channel may shift up a little bit, only because of the long-term mean. And so I'm going to say now the channel will probably be somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000. So I think that we're going to enter into that channel. And probably go for another year. At least. Casper says, pretty sure Bitcoin is the perfect instrument to manipulate to get fools' money. Oh, absolutely. Too hard for the masses to understand that technically, so people blindly think it'll raise to any imaginary price. I agree with that. Thank you for that comment. Chris P. Hi, Ernie. Let us know when you're ready to short. I want to jump in too. And Chuck A. Ernie, what's your take on goldmoney.com? Poor place to hold gold, silver, or outright scam? I have a goldmoney.com account, and I've used it for a while. They changed some of the some of the limits that you have in terms of having a bank card. I used to have a bank card and used to be able to use it, and then they raised the limits to like $5,000 that you needed to have, or more, maybe $10,000 that you needed in order to use the bank card. So I can't use my bank card anymore, and I have a bunch of money in there, and I'm having trouble transferring it out, and they want to charge me $20 to transfer it out. So it hasn't been a real, because of that, I haven't put any more money into goldmoney.com. So it hasn't been a hugely positive experience. It was in the past. I mean, I really liked it. I used to use the bank card all the time. Used to go in and out of gold and take advantage of the moves. But then they raised all the limits, and I'm not sure why they did that. So, yeah, there I am on that. Andrea07 says, anyway, I suppose Bitcoin is in a good area to take a short position, right? What about the chances of 3.2K to be the bottom instead? Thanks in advance. I would wait. I want to wait. See, right now we're in this sort of parabolic move. We're going like this. And when you're in that kind of move, there's no telling how high it can go. It could go to the moon. It could stop right here. You don't know. I would prefer to see it plop down, wait for that secondary push up. If it's lower than the first primary push up, starts to roll over, that's the place to short. Casper says, by the way, thanks for the position size video. It finally opened my eyes on what kind of a fool I was being. Thank God I didn't blow up my balance yet. You're welcome. And Raphael, what are the options to short Bitcoin? Right now, really, the only options are things like Bitfinex or another margined account, and also Bitcoin futures, the CME futures, and which it's not the cheapest thing to do, and you need a futures account, and you need a lot of margin in order to short it. Current feeling on the weed, Ernie. I'm still a big proponent of weed stocks. We still have a little ways to go. We need a few more states to get involved to decriminalize, make medical and recreational available. And then I think that train is moving, and then we also need the DEA to finally take off the level 1 designation, which they've half-heartedly done already. We have the Farm Bill, which has opened up companies to hemp production. I think that's going to grow. It takes a little while for all that mechanization to take place and to build out that. So I think that in the long run, right now is like if you have some money and you want to get at the absolute bottom floor, right now is the time to invest in weed. The problem is there aren't enough American companies to really invest in. What is your volume analysis on the SP, so, the Standard & Poor's saying? Oh, I don't know. Let's find out. I mean, right now we're entering into this big volume well. I think that this rebound, we have a hugely bullish candle today. Huge bullish candle. And we've entered into this volume well here, as you can see. Right there. And I see us going right back up to the 2880 area in short term. We'll probably hang out there and then climb this ladder and then hit new highs probably by the end of this month. And Ernie, why on earth are you still using that poor AdBlock browser extension? Unblock Origin is much better an ad blocker for all browsers, especially for Chromium-based ones. Yeah, I have to plead ignorance there, Smart Nexus. I I wasn't aware that that was something that you even noticed, to tell you the truth. I really don't care. What about the thought that whales are aware that the global FOMO is in effect and will be very unforgiving to people who think a retrace will 6,500 or below to accumulate for future? They could give a shit about about everybody else, really. All they really care about is them accumulating more Bitcoin, pumping it up, dumping, pumping it up, dumping. That's all they care about. And now, maybe there's some insight at 65. I don't know. I really don't. But, the more they can pump it up and dump it, the greater that they can make that spread, the more they're going to make. You can short Bitcoin on BitMEX, yes. Don't listen to Ernie. I said any place where they have a margin exchange. Man, what is your problem? Do you see Denver decriminalized psychedelic mushrooms? Yes, I did. Psilocybin, it's called, by the way. That's kind of interesting. All I says, you say bottom floor for weed. Which specific stock do you have in mind? As I said, most of the stocks that you can get or buy today are Canadian-based stocks. And I said just a few minutes ago that I'm really waiting for an American-based company to show some prowess in that area, and that's what I would be more inclined to buy. But I don't have any suggestions right now. I mean, the MJ. I suppose you could go for the MJ ETF, and that would probably be an appropriate one. Let's just check out MJ right now. So MJ, which is the ETF Managers Trust Alternative Harvest, which is the Bitcoin ETF. I'm sorry, the weed ETF, comprised almost exclusively of Canadian companies, is probably a good proxy, at least for now, and I think is worth buying around here. I would say buying it anywhere here or lower is fine. And as many of you know, that I called for it to go down to around 20, which it did, and those were all buying opportunities. It did go up here on other news, like the Farm Bill, and I think that was quite overblown, and now it's starting to give some of that back. So, is Andreas Antonopoulos full of shit? He claims to understand the Bitcoin tech and makes it appear legit. I never said the guy's full of shit. I'd say that he is naive. He's smart and naive at the same time. It's kind of like a jerk genius. He is totally bought into Bitcoin. In the beginning, he was a fraud. Where he would espouse the virtues of Bitcoin when he was not following his own advice and putting his family in peril. So he's a good speaker. He was bailed out by Bitcoin whales. They basically pumped him up because he is so likable. But he's written a bunch of successful books, which he hasn't really capitalized on. So I don't know. I have really no feelings for Andreas Antonopoulos. He is Greek, so he's got that going for him. Ernie, do you still feel that weed will be bigger than cryptos? Oh, absolutely. That's not a question at all. Nordine Alati, the whole crypto space is a fraud. I think there are a lot of people out there that have good intent. And I wouldn't say the whole space is a fraud. There are some people that are trying to do it right. I'm still a believer in Hashgraph and their overall methodology. I just don't know where it's going to fit in our overall economy. All Eyes wants to know about Altria. It's a weed stock. for a future bet on U.S. cannabis. That, perhaps. I don't know their total footprint in the U.S. I thought that they were a Canadian company. Let's look at that. Oh, it's they're owned by Philip Morris. So yeah. That sounds like a good, but they're also in the MJ ETF. No, Andreas Antonopoulos was not involved in the original coding. Chuck A. Would holding the MJ ETF in our Roth IRA be considered immoral? Why? What's immoral about that? Are you saying that weed is immoral? I don't think so. Roger Ingrid. Hey, how you doing? Ernie, just joining. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. I heard you got another dog. Yes, I did. That's cool. Really wonder what you think of this Bitcoin revival. Technical, there has not changed a whole lot. I've just been talking. You'll have to go back and watch the rest of this video. I don't really think much of it. I think the most likely explanation is a pump and dump. Is this just some people who decided to pump the price up? Yes. All I say is American Corp, big money on them, Ernie. I'd like to hear your thoughts if you looked into them further. I think you're referring back to Altria, which I just did. I just looked, and I saw that they're owned by Philip Morris. I think that's a good move by Philip Morris. I don't know Altria's total makeup, but what I'll do is I'll start looking into it. I'll have to admit that, quite frankly, over the past 6 months, I've been 100% focused on pattern cast. So that's where all my effort has been going. My in-laws this is Chris Rock, my in-laws gave my kids some money for them to invest. I've been considering weed stocks, but as I've mentioned, I am a layman. That shouldn't matter. I mean, if you have a good feeling or intuition about something, I think that you should do what you think is the right thing to do. I think in the long term, weed stocks are going to be a great investment. All right. That's all I've got to say, and I want to thank everybody here that has joined me today. Please go down to the whatchamacallit, the like button. That's it. Hit that like button. Pound the fucking hell out of that like button. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Check out some of my more recent videos. We've been doing a lot of videos on futures trading and futures products. We have a more recent one looking at this recent move up in Bitcoin. So there will be a little bit more on that. I promise you that there will be some more on weed stocks. Patterncast is my big baby now. That is where we're expecting this company to really blow up now that we have this relationship with a broker, and I think that is a great value for people that want to get into trading. And whether you're an experienced trader or an inexperienced trader, and you want somebody to help mentor you, that's what's great about Patterncast, is that you don't have to deal with the complexities of the strategy. You get the signals, you trade off the signals, and then all you have to do is concentrate on the execution. And in our trade room, we're there. That's what we're all about. We have a great group in there. It's like a family almost, and it's just fantastic. There is a very, very strong edge in the Patterncast signals. Very strong. I mean, stronger than anything that I've ever seen on any signal service, and it's been consistent year in, year out. All right. Well, again, thank you, everybody. I'm going to say goodbye for now, and we'll see you next time. I'll start doing these live casts a little bit more regularly. And again, thanks, and we'll see you next time. stop streaming, Ernie. Bye.